Hi, I'm Holly. This is my eyeball dissection for Anatomy and Physiology Lab. As you can see, this is the cornea. It is a clear layer of tissue over the eye which allows light to enter the eye and acts as protection from particles in the air and even to UV light. It is also very thick. Up next, I have the vitreous humor and aqueous humor. The vitreous humor is a gelatinous substance in the vitreous body that holds the shape of the eye and makes up 80% of the inside of the eye. The aqueous humor is the more liquid part, and it keeps liquid pressure in the eye to maintain the shape of the eye. Next is the lens. The lens is located behind the pupil. It focuses light to give a clearer picture on what we are seeing, and it adjusts to see depth more clearly. Next, this is the hyaloid fossa. Unfortunately, during the dissection, I was not able to take it out in one complete intact piece, but it is a ligament behind the eye that encloses the aqueous humor, and it's also a ligament that attaches to the lens, and it separates the vitreous humor in the vitreous body of the eye. Then we have the iris. It is the small circular colored part of the eye. Its function is to constrict and dilate to control the amount of light entering the eye in different environments such as light areas and dark areas. This is the pupil. It is the hole in the middle of the iris, and all the pupil does is simply allow light to enter the eye. When you flip over the iris, you see the zonula ciliaris. It contains many fibers behind the iris and manipulates the lens to see further or closer. Right here is the sclera. It protects the eye from injury and maintains its shape. It is the white tissue that surrounds most of the outside of the eye. When we flip over the sclera, we see the vitreous body, which is an empty cavity inside the eye that holds the vitreous humor, and it holds the shape of the eye. The black tissue here is the choroid, and it sits between the sclera and retina. It absorbs most of the light because of its dark color. We also see the tapetum lucidum, which is the bluish reflective part of the choroid that reflects light. It is more predominantly seen in animals and reflects small amounts of light out of the eye to see in darker environments. In front of the choroid would be the retina. Unfortunately, the retina dried up and couldn't be seen, but it sits on the outside of the choroid, which is where light focuses. It contains many rods and cones that allow us to interpret color and intensity of light. Inside the retina are rods and cones. Rods specifically are cells in the retina that allow us to see the intensity of light and aids us in seeing in the dark. Cones come in few different types that determine color and interpret all different colors we see. If the retina were still intact, this is approximately the area in which we would see the blind spot. The blind spot is where the optic disc is in the retina and where there is no light-sensitive cells causing a blind spot. Upon flipping over the back of the eye, we're able to view the optic nerve. This is the nerve at the back of the eye, and it is responsible for transmitting what we see to our brain, and then the brain interprets the image.